coming back to school with me. We could have done it all so easily.
Hi, my name is Craig Thompson-Wood. I'm the board game teacher. Thanks for coming to my games room. Today I'm fulfilling a special request made by a viewer where they'd asked me to do a playthrough of Guardians Chronicles Clash of Heroes just so they could see how the game plays. And I know I myself find that a very good way to learn. You know, it's one thing to watch a rules video and say these are the rules, but to actually watch the game in motion, watch it being played is a very effective way to learn the rules of the game, provided I'm not making too many mistakes, that is. So let's get it to the table and see how it plays. So I just want to start off by saying, before we get to the actual gameplay, which mission that I'm doing. I chose the mission from the Night Squad crossover pack. It's the third episode in which Night Squad has abducted Rage, their former teammate, and in a very un-Canadian fashion are trying to, against his will, take him back to Canada for debriefing, and I guess they're going to fill him up with so much Tim Hortons coffee that he's going to turn back into a Canadian again. So it's up to the heroes to liberate Rage from going back to the promised land of Canada and keep them there so that he can become a member of their team. So two teams of heroes are going to be squaring off against each other and against the Night Squad, who will emerge victorious. On the team of the Mercury Herald, we have Dr. Shadow and Fahrenheit. And for the Guardians team, we have Golden Boy and Adam Spell. Victory points in this game will be awarded for each member of Night Squad that's knocked out will be worth 2 victory points. Rescuing Rage, bringing them back to the starting point, will be worth 4 victory points. Achieving personal objectives will be worth 1 victory point each. Getting knocked out will be worth -1 victory point. And so that'll be the game. Let's get it to the table. So here's the setup scenario for Extraction, scenario 3 of the Night Squad crossover pack. So I look at, the first thing I'm doing is I'm following the map on the back to set up the board. I put in all the tokens and characters in their associated places. This was the starting for the Guardians team, and this is the starting for the Mercury team. Then I'm going to take the associated cards with the tiles. So, well, we don't have a manhole. Take that one out. So we have exterior AO1. All this one's referring to is the subway entrance here. And in fact, because this is the only tile with a subway entrance, and that's the only thing that's important on exterior AO1, I'm even going to remove that card. So what we're left with then is we have the hot dog stand, which is over here. And the hot dog stand can be used to either heal or to throw at somebody. And once the hot dog stand's been thrown at somebody, then it becomes a destroyed hot dog stand, and the destroyed hot dog stand no longer has the ability to heal anybody because the hot dogs are all, nasty, and the 5-second rule doesn't apply to superheroes. Then we have a few cars here, which can make some excellent weapons to throw at opponents or to move quickly. In this case, moving quickly isn't really a big issue because it's a quick run into here. Remember, the whole point of this mission is to get past Night Squad, to then liberate Rage, and then get him out to your extraction point. Whoever does that will then get the associated newspaper. Now, remember, to get the associated newspaper and know which ones I needed, I was looking at the sheet here because on this page, it tells me what things I'm going to need. It's going to tell me what tiles I need, what tokens I need, as well as I need menace sheet number 12. So I grabbed menace sheet number 12, and it tells all the information that you need to know, including here which newspaper articles are needed. So in this case, the team that is able to extract Rage will get this newspaper article, and for each of the members of Night Squad, whoever eliminates each of the members will then get a newspaper article as well. What's important to note too is the how the Night Squad is going to be acting here. They operate just based on a simple AI. They're going to have so many hits they take before they're knocked out. I have here these hearts, which are normally used for the Xtina mission for charming the heroes, which may explain why the Night Squad is acting so funny. I mean, it's not like a Canadian to kidnap people and misbehave like this. We'd make terrible interrogators, by the way, because we keep apologizing all the time to our captor. So every time they're wounded, I'm just going to move this heart down. But noting the special abilities here, Lieutenant Bigfoot is able to move a hero who's still on their tile. The enemy team can move them to any adjacent tile, any space on that adjacent tile. So I guess Bigfoot is just throwing them away. Armor has a high defense, and you have to target armor before any of the other members of Night Squad can be targeted by an attack. So it's taking out armor first is what has to happen here. Quick shot is going to do damage to anybody who's on her tile, and Night Vigilante is going to start lowering the defense of heroes on its tile. So it's so like I say, first objective, take out armor. So before the game begins, we need to quickly roll up to see what the secret missions of each of the people are for their team members. So for Dr. Shadow, he rolls a blank. So the blank says at the end of the game, you must have no other character on the tile that he's on. So that's I think a fairly easy one for him to do. So he needs to have no characters on his tile. Fahrenheit, succeed a test on an objective with no allies on your tile. So he has to succeed a test on an objective with no allies on his tile. So a test would be a mental or physical check where you're rolling the value check. That would be my interpretation of the test, and the only objective here is to get Rage out. So it would be Fahrenheit coming over and convincing Rage to join the team, and that would be how you do that, and without having Dr. Shadow out there on the same tile supporting him. So a little tougher for him. And then for Adam's spell is blank. You put the last damage token on the master villain. So there are 4 villains in this one. Villains, I use that term loosely because they are Canadian after all. So if he puts the last damage token on one of the villains, that will give him his. And then Golden Boy also gets a 1. You pass a value check on an objective. So similar to Fahrenheit, he has to pass a value check convincing Rage to join the team. But he can have Adam's spell on the same tile. He doesn't have that same limitation that Fahrenheit has. Unfortunately for him, convincing Rage to join the team is a mental check with a difficulty of 4, and that's not Golden Boy's strong suit. Now that everything's all set up, we're ready to go. Each team is going to start the game. They're going to start selecting their cards for their team members and then put down their initiative cards. Now the first thing you're going to do when you have your cards all laid out is you're going to, the initiative cards. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to look at which team gets initiative. So here we have 3 and 2 for a total of 5. They don't have any special techniques, so these guys have 3 plus 3 is 6. So the team of Adam's Spell and Golden Boy are going to go before Dr. Shadow and Fahrenheit because their total speed is 5, their total speed is 6, including their secret techniques. Therefore, they go first. Revealing then their initiative cards, we see that Golden Boy is going first. So Golden Boy has a speed of 3. So for his first action, he will go 1, 2, 3. He's going to pick up this card and he's going to throw it at armor. So he has line of sight to armor here. Armor standing in the doorway, so now being in this position, he does have line of sight to him. So he attempts to pick up the car. His strength is currently 5. Picking up the car, looking here, we see throwing the car is a test of 4. So 2, 3, 4 is under his value of 5. So he has successfully picked up the car and he now throws it at armor. So we flip it to the damaged side, throws the car at armor, and now he's able to roll an additional 3 power dice in his attack. Because that's what the card says, when you throw it, you throw an additional 3 power dice in the attack. So he has a normal 3 combat dice. His special technique gives him 2 power dice, and then his throwing of the card gives him an additional 3 power dice. So 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we've already beaten armor's 8 there, so we're going to put 1 wound onto armor. So that was 2 of Golden Boy's actions. 1 to move here, 2 to throw the car. So for his third action, he's just going to stay here because otherwise it's going to give Lieutenant Bigfoot the opportunity to throw him. So we're going to go on to the next one. We see Dr. Shadow here has the opportunity to move up to 4 areas, ignoring character positions. So that'll be 1, 2, 3, and 4. So Dr. Shadow's getting right in there and is going to attack armor from this position. So we have 1, 2, 3. So not nearly enough to beat armor. First action was to move into there, second action to attack, third action will attack again. So we'll try that again, and this time we get 3 again, so Dr. Shadow was unsuccessful. Go back to the other side, we have Adam's Spell. Adam's Spell has the boosted things here, plus a unique action where it can make a ranged attack against 3 targets, or make a ranged attack, and if successful, deal +1 damage. So, Adam's Spell has a movement of 3. We'll go 1, 2 to there, and blast armor from there. So like Dr. Shadow should have considered maybe doing a stronger attack, we have 2 + 1. So we have 2 + 1 against armor. 3 is unsuccessful. That was the first attack. Second attack, 1 POW. Okay, so that was not very successful. And then Fahrenheit is going, and Fahrenheit says can make a ranged attack, and if successful, place a -1 token on 2 of the attribute values of your choice on the target. So Fahrenheit has a movement of 3. We'll go 1, 2, then 3, and we'll also try to attack Dr. Shadow. Armor. So we have 3 with a POW. So we have 4. Not enough. So really seeing now that the heroes are going to need to add special techniques in order to get through armor. Once they got through armor, they can then work on the other members of Night Squad. So now we look at the end of the round actions. So the first thing we say is the helicopter's en route. So while at least one of the members of Night Squad remains active, the helicopter token is moved forward along the exfiltration track by 1 space each round. So we're going to put this token here, showing that a helicopter is on its way to get Rage out of there. And then Night Squad attack. Each member of Night Squad, at the end of each round, in their ability description, may now use these abilities. Force of Nature, so at the end of the round, heroes present on Lieutenant Bigfoot's tile may be placed into an adjacent tile in the space of his choosing by the enemy. And at the end of the round, each hero present on Quickshot's tile must place 1 damage token on their ID card, and at the end of each turn, heroes on Night Vigilante's tile must place 1 -1 token on their defense. So we have these 3 heroes on the tile, so it looks like taking out armor with range is going to be the important thing here. So that's with Night Vigilante, and each hero is putting 1 damage token from Quickshot. And then Lieutenant Bigfoot is going to throw these people. So Lieutenant Bigfoot will throw Adam's Spell, so the opponent will decide, and they would put maybe Adam's Spell down here, and then Dr. Shadow would go down here, and then Fahrenheit would go here, say. So that would be decided by the opponents, but as I'm doing both, I'm just going to put them anywhere there. So now we look at the end of round phase, we look at cards and wounds. So each of the heroes, three of the heroes have one damage on them. The damage you compare to their damage threshold. Each of these heroes that has been damaged has a threshold of 3, but only have 1 damage token, so they're fine for now. So we're going to clear away the cards, and we're going to set up for a new round. Okay, as I've noted, unfortunately my camera had run out, so we're going to be fast forwarding a little bit through the video here. To recap some of the things that have happened since the camera had cut out, the Mercury team had also succeeded in knocking out Quick Shot. Adam's spell is still at 1 wound, Fahrenheit is still at 1 wound, Dr. Shadow has no wounds, nor does Golden Boy. Dr. Shadow has just moved in here on the last turn and had done a Pits of Shadow to move Lieutenant Bigfoot into the same area as Night Vigilante. Following that, then Golden Boy took a car, smashed it onto Fahrenheit, and then hit him again one more time. Actually, smashing with the car was a bit of overkill because of the fact that Fahrenheit is already at 0 defense. Really, three hits would have sufficed. And now Fahrenheit has moved up at this point and is now doing his action. So he spent 1 action getting to this point here. Now for his second action, he's going to do his ranged attack, and everybody in the area is going to take 1 damage regardless of whether or not he actually hits. It's a great power he has here. It's a unique action. Make a ranged attack. All the characters in the same area as the target are dealt 1 damage token whether the attack is successful or not. So I'm not even going to bother to roll for that one, because then Lieutenant Bigfoot goes down to 0 and Night Vigilante also takes his last wound. So those 2 are gone. The Mercury team is like really on fire here. They have knocked out all of Night Squad all on their own. And now it's just a case of convincing Rage to go with them. So we'll move on to the next step, which would be Adam's spell. So Adam's spell would be the second in the initiative order now. So Adam's spell has a movement of 3. So he will go 1, 2, 3. He'll have to stop in there. For his next action then, he's actually going to use his special ability, which he can teleport to an adjacent area once during his activation. And this area doesn't even have to be something within line of sight, so he's going to teleport straight to there with Rage. And he's going to try to convince Rage to join the team. So to do this, looking again at the snatch and grab thing here, now that the members of Night Squad are taken out, it's now a mental challenge of 4 to get Rage to join the team. And so 3. And his mental value right now is 3, even with a -1. So Rage has now joined the team. So I'll just slide Adam's spell's card up here, because when you successfully recruit Rage, you take his card and you add it to the character who's recruited him. So in this case, Adam's spell. So that was 1. So his movement was 3, 1, 2, 3. Teleport to their second action. So he still has 1 more action. So he is going to just come on out with Rage. There's nothing more for it. He has to come out at some point. So now that's the end of the round. So we're going to reset the cards again. So Golden Boy's cards get discarded. Looking at the damage tokens, Fahrenheit has 2. As I said before, I think I'm going to discard these negatives that the heroes had on their defense that was granted by Night Vigilante, and putting down some new cards. Okay, so ready for the next round here. Revealing the cards. And we see that the Mercury team has a total of 5, and the Guardian team has a total of 5. So we have our first tie here. So looking at the next stat, we have 5 plus 2 is 7, and 2 plus 4 is 6. So in this case, the Guardians team actually breaks the initiative tie with the mental. So they get to go first. So revealing the first card, we see that Adam's spell is taking the initiative. And he's casting a neuralizing net, which means that enemies on the tile cannot benefit from their defense bonuses. So these two here are now a little more susceptible to attacks. And he's going to have 3 actions, and he's going to use them to... He has to keep moving forward, so he'll move at least 1 space forward now. And he will then do his remaining 2 attacks against Dr. Shadow. So he's got 2 combat dice plus 2 power dice versus a defense of 3. Now, as a Master of Shadows, any attacks targeting Dr. Shadow must roll at least 1 POW in order to hit. So, even though this beats his defense of 3, there's no POWs in there, so that one didn't hit. He has 1 more attack, however. And there we go, we have 2, 3, that's hit. So we put 1 damage token, these aren't wounds, they're damage tokens, onto him. So there's a bing and a ping on him. And that's it for Adam's spell. So now it's up to Rage. Rage is now under the influence of the Guardians team, so he's going to run forward and he's going to attack Fahrenheit. So he has 2 actions as connoted by the symbol at the bottom here, speed of 2, so he's got 4. So he gets the 4 dice here. And that's 2, 3. Not enough. If he just got 1 more, he could have wounded him because the bonus defense does not count for Fahrenheit because of the neuralizing net cast by Adam's spell. And so that's it for Adam's spell's turn. Looking at this side, we have Fahrenheit, and Fahrenheit can make a ranged attack. Oh, sorry. May make a ranged attack, and if successful, the number of actions your target may perform is reduced by 1 during its activation. So he is going to make a ranged attack down here at Golden Boy before Golden Boy even goes. So he's going to have 3 plus 2. So he's rolled 3 plus 2 is 5. Golden Boy has 6, so not quite enough. Not quite enough. And that was his unique action, so it didn't work out. And then so he'll attack again. 3, 4, 5 with a POW, 6, 7. So that does land a hit. So that's 1 damage token for Golden Boy. And then the last attack here, 2, 4, 6, 7, that has also damaged Golden Boy, so he takes another damage token. He too now has a bing and a ping. And a paw and a Pam. That sounds like a Dr. Seuss book. So now we go on to the last player. No, sorry. Second last player. We have Golden Boy as the last for the Guardians Chronicles team. And he still has his 3 actions, and he's going to use them to move forward first. So he has a movement of 3. So 1, 2, 3, right up to Fahrenheit. So that's his first action. Second action, he's going to attack. So he has 3 plus 1. And remember the neuralizing net, so Fahrenheit is a little more susceptible now. And so we rolled 3 plus 1 POW, just needs 1 more, and that will hit. Yes, so he has hit Fahrenheit. So Fahrenheit takes another damage token. And he has 1 more, so he'll roll again, and this is again has easily hit, so we put a 4th damage token onto Fahrenheit. The final player for the turn will be Dr. Shadow. So Dr. Shadow will attempt to hit Adam's spell. Doesn't even need to move here. Just going to hit Adam's spell with his attacks. So he's actually gearing up for some big attacks. But he's also doing a, he has his weakness card played out, but that's just going to reduce the number of movements that the people can make. And it's going to remove the 2 counters, damage counters he has on him, so that's that taken care of. And now he will roll 1, 2, 3, 4. He's apparently a very good martial artist. And 1, 2, 3, 4. So he's rolling all these dice against Adam's spell with a defense of 5, and he has 3 attacks. So 1 has hits with a damage token, 2 has hits with a damage token, and 3 has hit with a damage token. And that takes us to the end of the round. So we do the cleanup, remove the cards. And at this point too, it should be noted that the helicopter is no longer coming. That stops as soon as the last member of Night Squad has been taken out. So now that Night Squad is completely eliminated, there's no more worry about the helicopter. Now it's just a case of getting Rage off to the side of the board. And so we're still working at that. Now we come to the part where we do the wounds. And so Fahrenheit has a threshold of 3. And he has 4 damage tokens. So he's going to remove 3 of those damage tokens because that is his threshold. So we remove 3 and add 1 more wound card to his hand. So now in his hand he now has 2 wound cards. So if he were to take a 3rd wound card, then he would be instantly knocked out. And Adam's spell will also do the same. His threshold of 3. He removes 3, which leaves him with 1, and 1 more is added to his hand, and this takes Adam's spell to 2 in hand, so he probably wants to start getting rid of some of those cards out of his hand right away. Okay, so setting up for the next round. Okay, and so we're all set up. We're going to reveal for this round. We have a total of 6 for the Mercury team, and we have a total of 3 plus 3 is 6 for the Guardians team. They have a total of 5 plus 2 is 7. They have 2 plus 2 is 4. So winning by tiebreaker is the Guardians team. So the Guardians team, I have to flip it over. Adam's spell is going first. His weakness card says here he cannot perform an action, move action, or he cannot attack. He's going to choose to just move because I think he's had enough now. And so he's going to teleport to this area and then move back to the starting area and encourage Rage to join him. So then Rage has 2 actions. So the first action, Rage has to come here, stopped by the fact that there is an enemy in that location. And then Rage will then go 1, 2 to here. Actually, let's go 1 to here. Oh, 1. This is 1 and 2. So then what we do is we would then put this one down for the Guardians team, and then consider and the final considerations then would be their missions. Golden Boy was supposed to pass an objective with his, so which would be a check on an objective, which would be convincing Rage to join them, but Adam's spell took care of that one. And then for Adam's spell, he had to put the last damage token on a master villain. Well, obviously he didn't, as all the villains were defeated by the Mercury team, so none of them get their headlines put on there. So we'll just close off their newspaper like so. And then for Fahrenheit, his was to succeed on a test with an objective with no allies on his tile. Well, again, Adam's spell quickly got in there and converted Rage over to their side. So Rage is now there, so he's was not successful in his. He will not get that one either. And then Adam's spell had to end the game with no characters on his tile. Well, he's got Fahrenheit on his tile, so he too doesn't get it. So it would just be a case of closing off theirs. And we would just go maybe like so, just move it around a bit just for a bit of aesthetics. Okay, and that would be the ending. Okay, so this will be the final scoring for the game. Looking at the Guardian side, they were able to successfully get Rage off the board on their side, and so they get the big article here, which is worth 4 points. So they have a total of 4. Each of these medium-sized articles is worth 2 points each. And so this is 2, 4, 6, 8 points for the Mercury side. Neither of the sides got any negative articles. The negative articles are the papers ridiculing the heroes when they've been knocked unconscious. Fahrenheit and Adam's Spell came pretty close, but they still managed to pull it out with while still conscious. So there's no negative articles for them. So the final score was 4-8 for the Mercury team. So that's going to be it for the playthrough of Guardians Chronicles Heroes Clash. Hope you had as much fun watching that as I had playing it. I mean, even though I was playing it as a solo game, playing both sides of the team, it was still, I found it very exciting. I was really trying to help both sides. I wasn't trying to favor one side over the other. I mean, already my Canadian team, Night Squad, was the bad guys, so, I mean, really, who am I to root for at that point? Abilities of the heroes and starting to figure out some ways that they could synergize better, so next time I play it I might have some better ideas on how to make these teams work together. It was just to me, like I said, I love this game. This is a great game. I love all the things that you can do to interact, the missions, and just it feels more superhero-ish now that you're out in the streets and out and about doing these different things. If you had seen anything that I'd done wrong in the video, any rules mistakes that I got incorrect, please let me know in the comment section below. If you have any other ideas of things you might like to see me do with this game, if you want to watch any other videos, if there's any particular rules questions you have, again, leave me a message in the comment section below. And just keep in mind, this is one mission out of many, and even with every mission, the combinations of heroes that you play is going, can make a big difference on how the game plays out. With different heroes in there, it could be a very different feel to the game. Also, when you play with more people, so if I played with 4 people, so that each of us was controlling one hero, and then we went at it, I mean, again, it makes for a whole different experience. So I'm hoping by watching this that you have a better understanding of how to play, and are maybe encouraged to get the game to the table yourselves. I think this game is a lot of fun, has a lot of great potential, and I'd love to see more people playing it. Well, that's going to be it for today. I'm Craig Thompson Wood, the board game teacher, saying thanks for coming to my games room.